Hello and welcome to the Streamcast. Today we will be discussing the Euros ahead of our FIFA playthrough. So this is the actual European table because, as you know, FIFA is not the official sponsors and therefore do not have all the teams involved, unfortunately. So I'll be making up the groups as I go, and I'll be going with England. But for now we will be looking at the teams available in the groups and kind of predicting where they will finish. Now, starting with Group A, watched a fair bit of the qualifiers and some of the play in between, but I have to admit I haven't watched every team. I haven't watched Wales in particular, or Switzerland, but I've watched Turkey and Italy and I'm very impressed, particularly with Italy's squad. I think Mancini as manager, I think they'd be one of the dark horses in the tournament, to be honest. Turkey as well had a really decent result against Holland or Netherlands, we'll speak about later on, and I think those two, believe it or not, will finish top two, which is crazy to think of, especially Italy. I think they've lost a lot of credibility, I guess, on the main stage, but I think they have a decent team. In Immobile, they've got a very, very good goal scorer, and they've got decent players all around. I know they're not really great in kind of the Champions League and stuff, but I think they have enough quality in their squad, and they have a very, very good manager to take them through. I'm going to go on a guess here. I think Wales will do pretty well. I think they'll pick up enough points to finish third. I say pretty well, probably not by their standards, but I feel like Wales will do enough to finish third. I think Turkey will scrape through. They have enough quality in the attacking sense. I think if teams like Wales aren't careful in Switzerland, they can counter pretty well, and they've got a decent informed scorer, free kicks, penalties, you name it. I mean, he's won the league with Lille, so you know they've got a decent strike on their hands too, as well as the players around. Some of them you've seen in the Prem, something for Arsenal fans were hoping to see. So, well, some of us are hoping, some of us are maybe hoping for other players. But yeah, he's available from AC Milan. Anyway, that's how I think Group A will go. On to Group B. I'm going to be honest, I think Belgium will win it, but I don't think Belgium will do that well as people think. I don't think De Bruyne was as great. I think he was good, but he was decent by the league standards. I don't think this season he was great by his own. I don't think he dragged enough games by the scruff of the neck. But I look at that back line, and I was watching some of the friendlies, and I look at Denier, and I don't know if he's starting for them, but if he is, I feel like a lot of teams are going to get at him. Like a lot. That's what I feel. The rest I'm not sure. I know most people probably go with Russia, but I have a sneaky suspicion Denmark will come second, Russia will come third, and Finland will be bottom of that group. I think it's pretty clear, isn't it? They've got such a talented squad. I feel like they're in the same route as Belgium though, like, except for they have younger players, so their players are growing. I know they have Memphis Depay, but I think he needs better around him and more experience around him. And they have the young and stuff and the little, but I've not seen personally enough from them for me to be like, yeah, they're really going to take this squad forward. I know there are a lot of fan favourites and I get it, and it's not to take away any quality they have because they're quality players. I just think there's teams overall that are better that can override their individual quality. Like, it's not like a France and Portugal, which is stupidly ridiculous in terms of quality and all over the pitch, all over. I mean, France is quality on quality, we can get into that, but Portugal as well, absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, that's the group of death, and I'll probably do an order which will surprise some people. Anyway, I feel like Australia will do quite well in second. Do you know what? I say quite well, I'm lying. I think these two will be very close, so they can be interchangeable, but Holland will definitely top it, and I feel like North Macedonia will get a point or two, but they'll finish bottom of the group, and that's just how I feel. England's group. England will top it. I think they have enough. They have enough to do or get through their 1-0 wins, I guess, and kind of get through that and win. Yeah, I just think they have enough. I think the Scotland game will be closer unless they really turn it out, but it's home nation, so it'll be quite difficult. I think Czech Republic, Croatia, 2-1 wins. I don't even think Croatia's that great anymore. and I know Czech Republic have a golden boy. So I'm not sure where to place those two. Do I want to? Scotland excite me. I've been watching their games and they're really exciting. I'm not sure they have enough, but they're definitely exciting, and I'm glad they took some youngsters with them, especially for future tournaments. And they've got some quality youngsters in their squad. Obviously, you know about Robertson, Tierney, fine. But they've got some quality players coming through, and I think they might surprise some people. Will they come second? This group is a lot tighter than I think people realise. I think people hang on to old kind of tournaments. That Croatia squad is aging. Like, it really is. And no matter how many players they have from back in the day, a lot of them aren't first. Some of them aren't first teamers like they used to be in their clubs as well, but they're still getting taken. So it's all to play for. I can't see Czech Republic getting out of it. I think their future's bright. I think this tournament is one too soon. I'm gonna go with my gut. I think Scotland will surprise some people. I think they'll do what Wales did and kind of get through. I think Croatia will probably end up there. This group easy, Spain. I think Poland have it. They have enough from Lewandowski and a few other players to get through. Sweden has an array of players. I just don't think they'll do enough. And unfortunately, Slovakia will finish last. Spain's an interesting one, which I want to look at in the group stages. Because obviously they're not the Spain we know, which is quite interesting. They've changed quite a bit, but they still have some decent technicians, just not as great as before. But I think including Traore and Varane in there, they might do something. I think they might kind of overcome the kind of burst of energy problems that they have. The thing is with me, I don't believe in Morata. I don't get the hype around him. I think for a striker who's a striker in the box, doesn't score enough goals. When he's clean through, doesn't score enough goals. He's not like Cavani, where you know the chances are coming. You just don't know with him. And this was pre-Chelsea. So I didn't know what people were thinking. I didn't even get the comparisons with Lukaku, who was bagging week in, week out with be it Everton, West Bromwich Albion, like mid-squad. Like it was incomparable in my opinion. But people still fancy him. I don't, and I think that might be the downfall. When they need the goals, and it's deep, where they're coming from. They've got a decent defence, decent midfielders, like I said, they can ball. But say of France or Portugal, if they go 1-0, 2-0, can I see Spain coming back? I can see them creating chances. I just can't see them burying it. For that, next group. Alright, let's be real, okay? I feel for Hungary because like, they're going to sit back, I think, and counter. But that group is so unbloody fair. So unfair. Oh my god. Anyway, so you have two powerhouses, like I said. Portugal probably have the most exciting 11. I think they're a lot better than what people predict. They've won it twice, so they've got that. They've won it before. So they've got that, and they've beaten France in the final to get there, although it wasn't the play we thought it would be. But I feel like in their squad, like the difference between, say, them and Spain is they have goals from somewhere, and Yossa's form in particular has been completely crazy. You know, Fernandes can do something, like sometimes he does some mad things, but when it comes off in it, and it works well. And I feel like that pairing between the two, even having Ronaldo up there, gives them a chance. I think the two Man City boys at the back, Cancelo and Diaz, who have been both. I think Cancelo hasn't had enough props. Right back or left back, he's been magnificent this season for Man City. Absolutely magnificent. Obviously, the hype around Diaz, which I get. Captains come in, wielded the squad, got them defending well. Unfortunately, with the final, things happen. Small margins in it, but I think obviously on the day, not everyone faces Kante, who will be in that France squad. And France are purring without some of their stars in there anyway. And Giroud is bagging. The man who did not score a goal in the last tournament is bagging. And Benzema's back. You already know what Mbappe is about. Griezmann just seems to love international football, and I think Pogba will have fun because he's actually playing in a position, and with, I guess, the right players around him for him to play how he needs to play. with me, with France, my question mark is always around the defence. I know they're quite renowned. I've watched Mbappe for PSG, and I'm not sold. And I can get why he's never really linked with anyone, because there's always this question around him. And I don't think it's temperament. It's sometimes it's how he focuses. As with young Koscielny, like there's just an element of recklessness that's going to cost you. But I think they have, and obviously I don't think Lloris is a great number one keeper, and I don't know who they have a backup. Lloris is riding on the coattail of his legacy. We have to be real. He doesn't really pull off enough great saves, or does, for me anyway, does enough to be considered. I think now where he is, him and Leno are the same level. I'm just gonna put it out there. But anyway, France's squad is just too brazy not to win this, so they're just gonna top their group and kind of, I won't say they'll walk through teams, but they'll play well, they'll win, they'll create tons of chances, and they'll have fun. It'll be good to watch. Germany's in a rebuild stage. If they do finish third, it's not on their own accord, it's just because the other two teams were better. The only thing is, I think the inclusion of Hummels and Muller was a masterstroke. I'm glad they brought them in, and it's not a thing of having old players kind of come in and kind of what England are doing, kind of old players playing the guard. These guys make a difference. Muller, especially in the box, I used to dislike him as a player, and I really watched him this year because I was just interested in watching German football. And his ability in the box to find his teammates and control things, it's almost like he plays in slow motion to everyone else. He can touch it with absolute accuracy in the box, perfect weight, and someone like Lewandowski's always on. And it doesn't matter if the ball's in the air. I mean, he seems to love it. Takes a touch, flicks it on, all of that he's got in his locker. And I think, again, it depends on the form of Werner and other strikers, depends on the form of Sane, and that's even if they play. But with some of the other guys they've got in their squad, they might be able to sneak through. As I would say with Italy is one of the dark horses. So what I'm thinking is, will Portugal be their own worst enemy? At some point, I think they will be their own worst enemy. And I can see them finishing third because they are. This doesn't take away from their squad. Their squad is magnificent. I can see Germany doing enough, as Germany does, to get the results they need and come out second. That's what I think anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 9 points. They both beat Hungary, and then maybe it's a goal difference thing that Germany gets through. But that's my predictions anyway. So you got big 4, but Portugal will be top. Oh, it's on points. Yeah, I think they'll get 4. But Portugal, it's relative to the groups. I think Wales can get a win. I think Russia can get a win, and Ukraine. I feel like Croatia's going to draw, and I'm not sure about Sweden, so I'm going to go with that. And those are my teams. Oh, I can do knockout stage. Was not expecting that. Okay, cool. I know what I said about Belgium, but I think they're good enough to overpower Croatia. Italy are definitely good enough to get through Austria. Poor Russia. This will be an interesting tie. My thing is this: if Scotland worries about Lewandowski, it could be to their peril because they have other players that can hurt you. If Scotland plays how they need to play, they can get through. And I think they will, like I said, they're going to have a Wales run. And I think they will get to, what's that called? Quarters? They'll get to quarters. And they'll cause France problems, but I think inevitably they'll go out. This again is another interesting one. In my opinion, I feel like Spain will just outplay. I think they will give Wales enough respect and play their strongest team and go out for the kill, and I think they'll create loads of chances. I think Wales will sit back and try to counter, but I don't think on this occasion it will be enough. So I'm going to go with Spain going through. The old God, you know what's going to happen, innit? So what's going to happen is England's going to be up for this one. Like, they're going to get their 1-0 wins and stuff and, do England. Then they're going to do a Mazza. I can see man like Foden, Kane, Mount, those three in particular, Sancho as well, because he runs around these man week in, week out, just turning it on. And I think Germany are going to get, I don't think the scoreline will be big, maybe 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever. But I think in the game, England will be so up for it that Germany are going to get hammered. Like, they won't know what hit them. They are good in the break, and of course we have our defenders at the back who I would say struggle with pace, and I think will struggle with third man runs, but I think they have enough to beat Germany, which I wouldn't have said last tournament 2 years ago. I'd have said Germany would have kicked them out, but yeah, it's weird saying that, and it's weird feeling like that, and it's weird thinking that 2 home nations will get through, but I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel. Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with that one. And yeah, I think Turkey has enough to get through Portugal. This will be the most interesting quarterfinal, and I think everyone will pick Belgium to win. And I think it will be down to people think about their attacking sense. But again, I'm not convinced by Belgium's defence. And I can see with Mancini, Italy playing a very, very clever game. And it's international football, and at this stage it's down to the one chance, and I can see them getting that chance and just completely shutting out Belgium. And one thing about Lukaku is, as good as he is, there's always a point in the game where the ball will come across the box or whatever, and he seems to inevitably miss. If he has no space to run into like he does in Italy, I think the momentum helps him a lot, and yes, he's good in the air and stuff, but I think they have enough in Italy to combat that, and they have enough bodies to combat that and the attack. I think, again, similar to what I said with the England game, there'll be waves and waves and waves and waves and waves of attack. But I think Italy will hold out. I think Belgium is really, really highly rated for their golden boys era. I don't think they're clinical enough, which is weird to say with the attackers they have. Hazard is not on form. Dorgan's been pretty decent, but he's not of the quality of his brother. We've got to be real. Decent quality though, and probably most people will take him. Dries Mertens, okay, again, I don't think he plays in this league. I don't think he I've watched enough Napoli games to say he's a decent player, but when it comes to those clutch moments, it's normally some of the other players around him, and I believe it was him. It might have actually been someone else, actually. But yeah, maybe he had a poor run and might be getting names confused in terms of goal scoring anyway. I'm sure he's created chances for his club. I just don't believe in Belgium like I guess a lot of people do. I think they have a lot of pressure. I don't think there was a need to bring Thierry Henry back on. Personally, I think they needed someone with a more defensive mindset. I think they believe they can run over teams. I think Croatia will try and block them off, and they won't be strong enough to handle it, but cause Belgium trouble, kind of like what Greece did in a friendly. And then Italy will come and show them how it's done. And Italy gets to the quarterfinals with no reputation. They're rebuilding their reputation, because I guess it's not gone well for them in the last couple of Euros, and people will be wondering about Belgium. But you have to admit, a lot of their players haven't performed consistently, especially at an international level, at such a high level. Yes, they get far, yes, they win their qualifiers. When it comes to the nitty-gritty, this squad's been together for a while. I don't see them as a dark horse at all. I just fancy Italy to be that horse. France, that's no disrespect. I think this game's more evenly matched, but I think it's going to come down to this. Spain lack pace, and England lack a quick defence. So what they can do for once is they can really stick it on another team, knowing that Spain, Morata's deceptively quick to a degree, and definitely quicker than Maguire. I feel like Stones can handle him though. And I think even with Ferran Torres, I think he'll be marshalled quite well, whether it be Chilwell or Shaw. I think they'll do a decent enough job to kind of control him and keep him on the back foot. I think they'll pin Spain back with just PMP, to be honest, phase them out. I think you need that. I think, like I said, Traoré is really important for Spain. I don't know if he starts or if he comes off the bench, but at least he gives England something to think about. So if they do win it and they do want to play progression quite quickly, they can. But I read something about Traoré, which is a really good point. He stops the ball and likes to run at players. It gives the opposition too much time to get back, and Stones and Maguire are pretty good in the air. I can see them pretty much dominating Morata in the air. I'm not sure who else Spain will get up front, I'm going to be honest. I know they have the guy from Villarreal, but again, maybe in free kicks he might get in behind. I know he did against Man United, but he wasn't being marked by Maguire. I think even Kyle Walker I'm not sure about Tyrone Mings. If it's a game in the air, I think Tyrone Mings eats them completely. So whoever is up front, I think if it's in the air, he's got that. If they play football on the floor and looking to get in behind, like I said, I can't see the plays they have to do that where England kind of fear that and not play to their full potential. And I think what the difference is, even if Spain decide, today we're going to sit back and try and counter, I think players like Grealish and Sancho are the difference makers that probably Man United needed in their Europa League final. When you play teams that sit back, you need someone that really disturbs the back line and that can dribble, take on a couple of players, beat a couple of players comfortably in the box, and you're afraid to touch them. Man United don't have that. They had Greenwood on one side and Rashford on the other, which is pace. So all you have to do realistically is crowd them out, as we saw, and not much happens, and you can do that. As soon as you face someone like Grealish, as you saw with the pen, doesn't matter how many people you get back, it just takes a second for him to beat one, have momentum, beat another, and if he's in a box, he's good enough to play a decent pass, but you've got to make a tackle, and normally, he knows how to leave his leg out, pens are conceded, so I think that would be a real difference maker for England this year. This will finish 3-2 to Portugal. I don't know how, but I just believe Turkey will get goals. I think they'll find a way, and it will just be a crazy game that we all enjoy. Again, gonna be honest, closer than people think, but France, their squad's too crazy, and I think they have enough balance, and I think that's what Italy will lack, the balance. And unfortunately, I think they'll come up short. France will have some chances, but they have 2 quality chances. And the thing with France is they will have 2 quality chances and bury it. And I think it'll be 2-0 all around that. It won't be more than that. Italy will give a fight, will give it to France, but France, whatever waves they have, I feel like they'll ride it and then eventually just start grinding them down and get those chances. Score, Italy will eventually open up because they need to score, then France will get them again. This is an interesting one. I call it the Rooney match, obviously the Rooney-Ronaldo match, even though only one of them is still playing for their countries at the moment. Because despite the quality, and I've mentioned the quality, it'd be interesting, especially with 2 opposite Man City defenders on either side. It'd be interesting to see how Diaz plays for his country, and he'll definitely be riding on the back of winning. Again, I feel like England's attack have so much difference makers, and it's down to their defence. But as we saw, I feel like the 2 Chelsea guys, if they play, James and Chilwell, if he doesn't chicken out and do 3 at the back, I don't think he needs that with Portugal per se, but if he wants to, he can. Say he does 3-2-5-1 and James and Chilwell still play. If Rashford goes up front with someone like Kane who can operate into holes, he would be 5, so 3-2, 2 and wide, 1 and then 2 up front. Maybe a Grealish or Foden in behind, and that will cause complete chaos in behind. I don't want to see anyone else in behind. I don't think anyone else can play the role, that 10 role, quite as well as either of them. The only thing is they both shift, and I feel like you'll see someone like Grealish shift closest to the left, which might be problematic, but then he can link up well with Chilwell, and I'm going to assume Rashford will probably be more that side. It does take away 2 very quality wingers, like I said, in probably Sterling and Sancho, but I think England are comfortable enough in attack to make those changes. I don't think many other teams in the tournament can, and kind of balance their different defence. And we saw some of Ben White. I know it wasn't great opposition, but if he needed to come in, I think he'll be up for the occasion and be decent enough. I think England could see the pen, but I think they have enough attacking quality to just scrape this one for their first final. But this isn't 1966. Unfortunately, it is 2021, the delayed season, and again, between Benzema, Kante, Griezmann, Pogba, I think Pogba will really have fun stunt on them. and really show them that showed it, like the English fans, this is how you ball. I think he just get let down by Man United quite a bit and his manager. But yeah, I think this is when they really shine, and they, so long as they don't mess it up. I didn't even mention Kingsley Coman. Jesus Christ. So long as they don't mess up their own game and they're focused. And I think what we saw this year, especially in finals, is experience matters, especially recent experience. And you know, having managers that have won it before, been here, done that is important. And having players that have done it before, been there, done that is also important. And France has done that. And I think that will be enough to carry over England. We will see tears, unfortunately. They will come close. But I think it will be the first time we'll be proud of how England play. And probably with players like Mason Mount, who I haven't even mentioned, who's been incredible this year and deserved the rest for the friendlies. Not so much Rashford, he'll be coming to the end, I don't know where he sits. Harry Kane, I think he'll be a striker forever because his all-round game is just impeccable. Even if he loses pace, I don't think it matters. But players like him, Sancho, Mount, Ben White coming through, some of the youngsters coming through as well. I think the World Cup might actually be stuff. Yeah, it might be the time for England, but this would just be that one time too short, and they'll have that experience and back again. It could prove me wrong. Anyway, that is my prediction. I've spoken through it as best as I can. I've spoken a lot. You've seen how I feel. Let me know what you think. I'll be very, very happy to let you know. You can question some of my predictions. You know, what do you feel about Belgium? Do you think I'm giving Italy too much props? Do you think Scotland will get to the quarterfinals? I believe it. Do you think I'm not giving Spain enough credit? Let me know in the comments. So let me know, and let me know who you predict to win